Oh, hello, I didn't see you there. Hello and welcome to another Putrid Ramblings. In this video, I'm going to have a look back at 2023 and look at all the stuff that I've made and learned. It's been quite a productive year. I've painted 5 armies, 3 for Age of Sigmar, 2 for Warhammer 40k. I painted a Warcry warband, 2 kill teams, a lot of scenery, and some little bits and bobs. I also got a new airbrush, a 3D printer, and a new camera this year, which I will also talk about. Well, let's begin with the first thing, which is Age of Sigmar. Alright, let's start with the first army, which is the Gloomspite Gitz, which may be one of my favorite armies that I've ever made. I mean, who doesn't like squigs, right? They're amazing. A friend of mine keeps calling them gut goblins. I don't know why exactly, but yeah. So I bought the Christmas box set, the Squigalange, late last year, and I was really looking forward to working on these models. The idea was that I wanted the entire army to have squig, so every model should have a squig somewhere. And I pulled it off. I actually bought a lot of stuff extra, so I got up to 2,500 points of squigs basically, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. I wanted to try something new with this army, basically making them run in a cave with all these mushrooms basically glowing and giving OSL lighting on the squigs themselves. Which meant I had to print a lot of base stoppers, which I found on my mini factory. I'll put a link in the description. And I had to print a lot of mushrooms. And oh boy, did I print a lot of mushrooms. So this was also a lot of experimenting with the airbrush. I bought a couple of inks, which I really enjoyed working with. And I think everyone should definitely try that out. Inks come in different varieties. You got like the very opaque inks to very transparent, which can act like color filters. It's really nice. But I wanted the OSL to really shine a bright light on the squig. So basically every squig and goblin has their base colors. I blasted them with white and then recolored some parts of the models. It was a lot of work. This was definitely, yeah, most of my tutorials are not really tutorials on how to paint an army really quickly, but then again, it was quite doable and I had a lot of fun doing it. Painting the models was a lot of fun, but playing them was quite a challenge. I did try to play a lot with them, trying to learn the army quite a bit, but I was playing Sylvaneth quite a bit, and Sylvaneths tend to jump around on the field. So even with a super fast army, that is the Gloomspite Gitz, it was still quite difficult to get them into combat. And usually my squig hoppers and the Mangler squigs were stuck in the midfield, being blasted to bits. So it was very much a challenge, but a lot of fun to play with as well. So yeah, I can definitely recommend this army if you love humor and squigs in your games of Age of Sigmar. I definitely had a lot of fun making the videos for the Gloomspite Gitz. I enjoyed playing with them, and overall, this might be one of my most favorite armies I've ever made. Next up is the Nighthaunt. The moment these models were released, probably 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I'm not sure. But the moment they got released, I love the models. You know, ghosts and stuff. You know, I like ghosts. But anyway, I was really enamored with the models, but I wasn't really playing Age of Sigmar at the time. And because this year I finished my Gloomspite Gitz, I think I saw online the Christmas box of the Nighthaunt for sale, very cheap. So I thought, you know what, let's get it. I always love these models. Let's start a Nighthaunt army. And that was a lot of fun. Again, I again tried to do a lot of stuff with inks and my airbrush, but this time, instead of having a very fabulous looking army with all kinds of different psychedelic colors, I tried for a more monotone army because, you know, they're ghosts. I wanted to give a nice eerie feeling to the army. I did try to get some variety in there. Basically the cloaks that the ghosts wear, I had some white cloaks, some black cloaks, some brown cloaks, just to get a little variety into the army. But all the like the ghostly mist stuff, I all try to do uniform. And it was quite a fun experiment to get through that perfect color that I liked. I wanted a kind of turquoise color. And I actually bought a lot of contrast paints of different brands, lots of inks. So I now have a huge collection of green, blue, turquoise inks and colors. And I ended up, luckily, finding a turquoise recipe that worked for me, and I hope other people enjoyed that as well. I didn't really have a chance to play the army though. I painted for a whole video. I painted 1,000 points exactly. I did play a couple of games with them, but it was fine. It was nice, but a other game came into play. That was like nearing the summer, Warhammer 40k, and I will talk about that later. But I did not get a chance to play the Night Hunt that much, and I actually did get more models. I wanted to get a 2,000 point army, and there's still 1,000 points of unpainted Night Hunts somewhere in this vicinity right here. So I will have to work on that somewhere next year, because I do really like the models. It was a lot of fun painting, and yeah, the Night Hunt will return. I don't know if I'll make another video because I'll paint it the exact same way, but yeah, we'll see. Maybe I can do a long form video of where I can actually show you the painting process. That might also be fun for people. Definitely let me know if that is something you'd be interested in. So the third army that I painted for Age of Sigmar was the Daughters of Cain. It's an older army, but the models still hold up. They're really cool. It was a lot of fun to paint. Painting those old witch elves, they're really, really dynamic, and yeah, it was really cool. The little snake ladies I thought were particularly awesome. I tried to do some different variants with them as well. And the Cauldron of Blood was quite intricate, but I did get some fun videos out of it, trying to get all the blood splatters on there and stuff. So all in all, a very fun project. I did not get a chance to actually play them, so I don't know how they are in battle. Judging from the rules, I think they're kind of like the Gloomspite Gitz, where they're glass cannons. They're awesome in close combat, but just trying to get there and trying not to get killed midfield is going to be quite the hassle, which, you know, I'm not one of the best players around. I know that. I'm more of a painter than a player, but otherwise, fun project. I might paint more of them, but I don't really know yet. There's definitely some other projects lined up for Age of Sigmar. You know, I'm not pointing at anything in particular, but there are other projects that might require my attention next year. So yeah, let's have a look at that. So let's have a look at Warcry next. So we're staying in the Age of Sigmar world, where we're going to talk about another game called Warcry, which is a lot of fun. I love playing it. I should play it more, but you know, who's got the time, right? So this year was the year of the gnarlwood scenery stuff, jungle themed Warcry, which looked really cool. I was not a very big fan of the warbands. They did actually made all the chaos warbands, and this was the first Nurgle models unit that I did not buy because I didn't find them really particularly interesting. The you know, the little guys on bamboo sticks. I don't know what they're called, but I don't know. Normally, Nurgle, I buy everything that's even closely related to Nurgle, but these guys, I don't know. Maybe I should have got them just, you know, because I'm also a Nurgle collector, basically. But no, I did not get them. But I did get the box of the gnarlwood scenery base set, which had some really cool fleshy trees, a huge skull on another tree, and all kinds of stuff. I tried to make it look really macabre, so actually making the trees made out of flesh, and you know, just trying different stuff, how to make them as bloody as possible. And it was quite a mess. I tried different consistencies with blood paint and water, and I had little pipettes so I could run the blood down the tree trunks, and most of the stuff did not stick on the trees themselves, so there was blood everywhere. It looked like an abattoir, which also was kind of cool. But yeah, I actually I enjoy painting the scenery, and the scenery has been used quite a bit in Age of Sigmar, because most of my armies are disgusting and gross anyway, so it really fit the theme as well. So Gnarlwood scenery, great. Another big release this year was the Seraphon from Age of Sigmar, which they look awesome. I mean, they're dinosaur people. Who doesn't love dinosaurs? But I wasn't really into the army as a whole, so I did not get into them. But there was a little warband of skinks, the little chameleon guys, which looked awesomely cute. And there was they had 3 pterodactyls with them. So that was an instant buy for me. I was really, really enamored with the little skinks. I tried to do some fun stuff there as well, paint some different varieties, and also printed a lot of big leaves, because, you know, these chameleons, they live in the jungle, and they should, their bases should reflect that. Tried some stuff with coconut fibers. It looked really good, I think. I unfortunately, no, I did actually play with them once or twice, and I think it was fun. But because all the skinks look very much alike, I had a little trouble, you know, seeing who was who had what weapon and everything. But overall, yeah, Warcry, that was everything I did for Warcry this year. Not that much. I think last year I did a little bit more, but yeah, a big thing loomed on the horizon in the summer, which was Warhammer 40k. But before I talk about Warhammer 40k, I would like to take a little sidestep to Kill Team, because I also painted 2 Kill Teams this year. The first one is the Blooded, the Traitor Guard. They had some models in, I think it was called Blackstone Fortress, which were really cool, and I think I actually bought them secondhand, and I had them in a little box for years. And finally, now they have a bespoke Kill Team warband, so I got a couple of those Traitor Guard to mix and match into the Blooded Kill Team. Tried some things with underspraying the models to get them like a purple shadow, and it looked really cool on camera with a day lamp. That looked really nice. But I actually played with them a couple of times, and if you see them on the tabletop from a distance, they were very dark, so I couldn't really tell them apart. And that's a problem. That's why I actually, because I love grimdark, I try to paint them in a grimdark way. But grimdark looks really nice in certain settings, you know, if you photograph it really nicely with some mood lighting, then grimdark looks really nice. But if you have it on the tabletop, your models can tend to get very black and brown, and you can't really see the details anymore. The second Kill Team I made was Death Guard. I love Death Guard, also because I knew a new version of 40k was coming. I thought it would be fun to paint some new Death Guard models, and also they released these Space Marine Heroes set of the Death Guard models, which that was quite a thrill to buy those. I was waiting until 11 a.m. to hit that button to buy them, and I think I did get them, obviously, but I think they were sold out in like 4 minutes or something. That was crazy. So yeah, of those models, I made a Kill Team, and I tried to do something completely new, because I still have a big Death Guard army. Which, you know, are the more classic Plague Marine color scheme, you know, very green and stuff like that. But I wanted to make them a little bit more grimdark this time. So white armor as a base, and then just grime them up, and do some OSL. So I printed some fire to put on the base. It was really, really nice. I enjoyed painting those. models, and they are awesome in Kill Team. They are very, very sturdy. They got the Feel No Pain stuff, so you can extra save all the wounds they get. A lot of fun to play with. Maybe a little bit overpowered, maybe. But then again, you know, it's Nurgle. You know, it's supposed to be good, right? So that was Kill Team. I love Kill Team. I actually have some very cool plans for next year for Kill Team, which I will talk about at the end of the video. All right, then we get to the newest, latest obsession that I have. Well, that's back again, Warhammer 40k. Now, I started this hobby with Warhammer 40k. I knew of it way, way back because of the Star Quest box game. And when I finally got into the hobby, obviously I started with Warhammer 40k. You know, there were orcs riding motorcycles with machine guns, so I was sold, like, right away. And of course, I got to learn about Space Marines, Chaos, and all that stuff, which was awesome. And yeah, I actually stopped playing, I think at the start of 8th edition. I don't know why anymore. No. I did not play 9th edition at all, but I heard some bad things. You know, it was very bloated, a lot of rules, they had stratagems, attachments, and all that stuff. It was a lot, and that did not appeal to me at all. Also, the new Primaris Marines, I know people love them, but I don't know. They look too lean, man. The old Space Marine, for me, should be big and clunky and like this weird machine of tubes and wires everywhere and armor that just lumbers forward like an unstoppable force, stuff like that. But these new Primaris Marines, they look like, I don't know, like Halo, superhero, Iron Man armor thingies. I don't like it. It's not for me. But, you know, a lot of people enjoyed them, so that's awesome. But so I wasn't really keen on starting Warhammer 40k, but then the new edition dropped, 10th, and they promised to make everything a little bit more leaner, and to release all the codexes of all the armies for free. So I had a look, and obviously I wanted to start Death Guard. But you'd think, well, the problem was the rules of the Death Guard were not as good. So he did play it, but no, actually, I painted my entire Death Guard army, and I also painted the Death Guard kill team in a different scheme. So my idea was to repaint my entire Death Guard army in a new scheme, which I did, kind of. I started that. I painted 14 Plague Marines in total. Blightlord Terminators. I painted the Hellbrute. I bought a new Blighthauler, Mythic Blighthauler, whatever its name is, Plague Surgeon, and I even spruced up Mortarion just a little bit. But I had so much stuff, and I was like, oh my god, I don't really want to repaint all that. You know, that's too much. So I ended up kind of switching sides, going to the World Eaters, which I also like. They're my second favorite Chaos Space Marine army. I'll get to those. So Death Guard, I did play a couple of games with them. I honestly didn't think the rules were that bad. I think they're a little bit better now as well. So rules wise, it's fine. But I want my army to be coherent. So if I have an older army and I add new stuff to it, but I paint it in a different way, for me that doesn't work. I want my whole army to have a very uniform look, you know, it needs to fit. And if I see models with different bases, and for me personally, that doesn't work. So, man, this was a ranty bit, but let's continue. So Warhammer 40k has been on my mind for quite a bit, for the rest of the year, basically. And I played a lot of games. I have weekly Warhammer games now. So that also means that I want to have a cool table to play on. So I bought a new battle mat of a ruined city, and I also, this was a great opportunity to paint some scenery that I had lying around For years and years and years, I had unpainted scenery, I'm afraid to say, stuck in a closet somewhere. But I finally put all that stuff out and I started painting them. So I painted a old bastion, I painted some ruins, I 3D printed some containers, which I also painted, and a altar of corn, because, you know, I was playing World Eaters, and an altar of corn I think would be awesome on the tabletop as well. So yeah, I painted all that stuff, and I was able to find some cool objectives. All very chaosy objectives. Everything that I've 3D printed, I'll try to put it in the description, so definitely have a look at that. Really cool objectives. I really painted them as simple as possible. I basically just put a zenithal on them, and then just went to town with contrast paints, really, because, you know, they're objectives. They're not that important, but you want to make them look good. So contrast paints are ideal for stuff like that. I actually have another ruin that I also 3D printed, and I will be painting that in the new year. I'll try to come up with a new way of painting ruins, which I can then film for you guys. So more scenery is coming in the new year. And this takes us to the armies that I painted for Warhammer 40k this year. My main army of this edition basically is the World Eaters. Now, I love World Eaters. I love the idea of Khorne Berserkers, and I think Karn the Betrayer is one of the most 40k characters of all time, both in looks and the way his character is. Really cool army. They had some recent models. Angron, you know, I mean, Angron is awesome. So I went to town with this army, and I wanted to try something new. Because I wasn't really looking forward in painting the entire army just red. You know, dark red armor with bronze might look a little bit boring. So what I tried to do was basically give the Berserkers their old, you know, Heresy era armor of white, and then add the blood onto the armor. You know, they've been fighting for 10,000 years. They don't really clean their armor. There's gonna be blood everywhere. So it was a lot of experimenting with, you know, different kinds of stuff. I actually found some YouTube videos that were very helpful in getting this scheme come to life, basically. And it was a lot of fun painting these Berserkers. Another fun thing of this army is the variety of units that are in there. They don't have that many units, but the units they have all look very, very different. And I painted them all in different ways. The Berserkers looked very much different from the Jackals, which were the Khorne cultists, just basically regular folk that are a bit souped up on drugs, I think, because they all look really, really buff. Even women, it's a thing. You got some demon stuff going around. You got the 8-bound. You've got some Lords of Juggernauts, demon princes. So I have my Berserkers, I had cultists, and some demon stuff to paint, all in different ways. That was a lot of fun. Of course, I cannot talk about the World Eaters without talking about Angron. You know, the centerpiece of the army, and the Primarch of the World Eaters, and what a model it was. I really went all out. I put a lot of time in his base to make sure it looks very, very scenic, very epic. Tried some new stuff with Angron as well, working with oil paints to get his demonic skin, and I think I pulled it off. I think it looks really, really cool. Angron on his epic base, and Karn. I also I bought Karn, the new model, and he looks cool. But I thought his pose was really awkward. I mean, he's running forward with his arms stretched back. It kind of looks like he's tripping. You know, as a champion of Khorne, you don't want to slip over like a banana peel or something. So I reposed him, and that was quite an undertaking. But he's now standing proudly on top of his mountain of skulls, which is very cool. And he is awesome in game. Talking about the game, I played a lot with the World Eaters. They're a bit of a one-trick pony because you basically have to go forth and get into close combat as quickly as possible. And it's definitely a challenge, I think. For some reason, most of my armies tend to just go forward and close combat. I don't know, it might be my preference, but it can also be difficult, especially when your opponent is very strong with shooting. So I'm actually going to play in a league, which will, I think, go until April. And we'll see how the World Eaters will do in that league. I don't think they will do well, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. But overall, a fun army to play with. I love the Blessing of Khorne dice roll you have to do at the start of the battle round to get your buffs going. And Angron has not come back yet. For those who don't know, Angron, if he dies, he can return on the field if you roll 3 6s in your Blessing of Khorne rule. But so far, every time I roll the 3 6s, it was when I do not have Angron in my army. So he has not returned yet, but hopefully he will soon. I actually finished the World Eater army quite quickly. There's still a couple of models I still need to paint. Some additional 8-bound, and I got some Exalted 8-bound, but otherwise the main army is pretty finished, and I now even have options, to try out different army lists. So obviously I wanted a different army, and I was looking into Black Templars, because although I'm not a big fan of Primaris Marines, I do like Black Templars, and I thought maybe I could do something with the new Primaris, but also maybe with some 3D printing in between. But then I would be stuck with another army that has to run and fight. So I was looking for something different, and I landed on Adeptus Mechanicus. Not knowing there would be a new codex. I did not know that at the time, but again, also models I really like, and I've liked for a long time since they first got released, but never really, tried them out. But yeah, I bought some, I bought the old Combat Patrol, a Boarding Patrol. I bought some other stuff because it's a horde army. You need a lot of models. But yeah, the more I see of this army, the more I like it, model-wise. It's they're so cool. There's a lot of body horror in the models. It's a little hidden, but if you see it, you see it, and it's really it really tells a story. The Adeptus Mechanicus, they are not the good guys, although they are part of the Imperium. They have like a loose alliance with the Imperium. It's a whole thing, but you can definitely tell that they do not care about human life and augment everything they can. It's a really, really diverse range as well. You got your tech priest characters, which all look unique and awesome. One of them I was building this week, and I found out he has a little floppy disk hanging on a belt. I mean, how cool is that? You got your Battle Line Skitaris, which I think look really cool, especially the Rangers with the hoods. Very nice. You got robots, you got servitors, stuff like that. It's such a diverse army, and I made some videos on them. I am painting more. I want to paint up to 2,000 points, but most of the stuff will be painted in the ways that I've already filmed. So it's going to be a bit of a more uniform army this time around. But I am thinking of adding a ally to the army, which will be an Imperial Knight. So I will probably make a video on him to see how I will paint that guy. Might be in the same colors, but we'll see. But overall, I've played a couple of games with them now. I'm trying to get the hang of the basics. It's a difficult army. A lot of things work together, so you really have to keep certain units, next to each other, stuff like that. I have no plan when I do something. I just put down everything and then found out, oh crap, I actually should have put this unit next to this one and stuff. So I got the technical genius of a dead ostrich, is what I usually say. And But still, it's fun to play with. A lot of shooting, so it's completely different from the World Eaters. And who knows if I'll start another Warhammer 40k army. I don't know at the moment. There's not like a army that really speaks to me, but things change a lot, you know. And I don't know what they'll come up with next. So, yeah. Overall, Warhammer 40k is still very much on my mind. It's a lot of fun. So this brings me to the last two things I want to talk about regarding painting. The first one is the only Nurgle model I painted this year, which should be a crime on this channel, but you know, other things had my interest at the moment, which is Festus the Leech Lord. This model I've also had for ages. It's a fine cast, fail cast model. I've had it in my cupboard for years. Like the plastic it was in was starting to yellow. I totally forgot about it. But I finally painted him up this year, and I really tried to get him as macabre as possible. And I think I pulled it off. I have not played him in game yet, so I don't know if he's fun to play with. But painting the model was definitely a lot of fun, and I can definitely recommend painting him up if you do not have so already. The other stuff I wanted to talk about was my only Blood Bowl team this year, which was the Gouged Eye. I think the first Orc Blood Bowl team that was released with the new edition of Blood Bowl a couple of years ago. And I don't know, I was just in the mood to paint some orcs, and I thought, you know, let's just get them. I had to buy them from Games Workshop because they were like online only. But, you know, painted some different orc skins, have not played them. So not much to say otherwise than here you can look at them here. Look at them go. All right. And like I said at the start of the video, I did actually get some new stuff this year as well. Of course, there's always new paints, like I already mentioned, inks and oil paints and stuff. That's always an ongoing thing. There's always new inks or paints to buy or try out and stuff like that. But I did actually, I managed to totally wreck my old airbrush. And I bought some very cheap airbrushes, but they worked fine. But for some reason I kept breaking them. It was the little nozzle at the tip. Every time I tried to remove that, the little screw inside would just come apart, and so I thought, you know, it's time for a proper airbrush. So I bought the Tamiya airbrush, which I forgot the name of. I should have looked that up. I'll put it on the screen, what the actual name of the brush is, because I forgot about that. But boy, that's a good airbrush. I did actually look at a lot of reviews of people. It's a workhorse. It rarely clogs. The only thing I have to do every time I finish a session, I have to take it apart and wash it really well, because if I don't, some paint might still be in there and clog up the needle. And I can't move it anymore. But otherwise, I have had no issues with this airbrush whatsoever. Mostly, it's you know, I have to clean it a lot, but otherwise, really happy with this airbrush. And yeah, good airbrush. The other thing I wanted to talk about was 3D printer. I had a Anycubic 3D printer for quite some time. It was kind of small, and I didn't really know how to properly deal with a 3D printer, so some mistakes were made. And you know, with a 3D printer, you know, at one point I did not even remove the printing plate while removing print. So I would just, you know, scrape along the line, catching the prints, because I didn't really know you were supposed to take off the print plate, because I thought every time you remove the print plate you have to recalibrate it, but that's actually not the case. So I might have ruined my print plate with that. Also, there was resin everywhere. It was like on the on the cover. It was everywhere, and it was very difficult to remove. So he printed, but it wasn't really. It was difficult. Lots of prints failed. I tried to replace the FAP a couple of times, but it just kept getting destroyed. There was at one point there was a leakage. Every time we removed the little tub, there would be resin on the print on the screen. It was a mess. So I thought I need a new printer. I now know how to actually print and work with them. So let's do something with that. So I thought it is time for a new 3D printer, and I got the Elegoo Saturn 3. Not knowing how big it is. So once it arrived, it's a giant printer, which is awesome. The print plate is really nice. And now I'm actually properly using it. So it's been printing like a dream. It's awesome. I really like it. It's a really good printer. I got a new 3D slicer called Litchi, I think it's called. It's also really nice. So yeah, I've been printing quite a bit. The downside of it, because the tub is so big, it also means you're going through a lot of resin. So because I'm printing something really cool for next year, which I'll show you a little preview later. But yeah, I needed to buy a lot of resin, unfortunately, because it prints a lot. But it's not a fast printer, but I don't really think speed is something you're looking for in a 3D printer. I mean, you can just leave that thing on. You don't have to sit next to it or anything. So I didn't really care about the speed. I just want him to print quality prints. And because the print plate is so big, you can print a lot of stuff at the same time. It's really nice. I've been enjoying the printer quite a bit. And the last thing I bought, a new camera, which you're actually watching me being filmed on a new camera, and I think the quality looks a lot better than my phone. I've been using my phone for all my videos up to, I think, the Engine Seer is the first video I just tried with my camera, and it's still a bit difficult because it's a whole new thing. I kind of know how everything works on the automatic settings, but I still need to figure out most of the stuff. So I'm just gonna try some things out. Definitely all my future tutorials will be filmed on a new camera. So hopefully the quality of the tutorials will be enhanced this way. And it's a Nikon Z30, which is made for YouTube. So it's made with filming in mind, and it works really well. It's now set in selfie mode, so I can see myself all being filmed. It did get too hot just now because I was charging it while filming, and it just shut down right when I was talking about 3D printers. So do not charge and film at the same time, I guess. Speaking of YouTube and stuff, I'm going to try some new stuff next year. Maybe film myself a little bit more talking about the hobby. I got some LED lights here, which were totally my idea of putting them there. Definitely not someone else came up with that. But, I'm just going to see if I can do some more stuff, some more fun stuff. But the mainstay of this channel will be painting tutorials, because painting is what I really like to do, and I will keep making them. Speaking of, this year I found out, I'm very late to the party, that shorts work really well, both on YouTube and Instagram. So I've been making some shorts, basically cutting down some stuff from my longer videos into a short, putting them on Instagram and YouTube, and they work really well. So I was thinking maybe I could do a little bit more with that as well. Maybe I could do some random beginner techniques on how to paint gory stuff. Like, a lot of people are already doing the basics, like how to paint black armor, how to paint leather, how to do that. But maybe I can do a little bit more in line with what I usually paint, and see if I can get some generic gore and gross stuff painted in shorts. Definitely let me know if that is something you guys would enjoy seeing. I was also thinking maybe I could film a battle report, because I do actually play the Warhammer 40k quite a bit. But I don't know if people actually watch battle reports. I tried to watch them a couple of times, but some of them, you know, they're like 3 hours, and who's got time for a 3-hour video, right? Yeah, you know, well, let me know. I am just rambling at the moment, so let's just put an end to this. So this was my look back at 2023. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Of course, you might be interested in learning what's in store for next year. I am actually, I got some stuff planned. I was already pointing behind me. There's a big box full of noble knights and you know, very noble steeds and stuff like that, standing right behind me. So I will paint them up. I've already painted a complete army of Flesh Eater Courts, and I was thinking if I could expand on that. So basically I want to paint them in the same way, but with added techniques. I need to think about this. I'm not really sure, because the original idea of my Flesh Eater Courts was the, you know, endless horde of ghouls and monsters running in an endless graveyard under the moonlight. So a lot of stuff was very light, very desaturated, with some green, yellow highlights. So I'm gonna see if I could maybe enhance it a little bit. I did buy some oil paints for that, so that's going to be interesting. Another thing that I'm going to be painting, what I'm going to have to get that is, I'm going to have to remove a little snot right here, is, let's see, a whole bunch of spaceship interior. So here we have, I don't know if it's I don't know if you can see it. This is like a command throne. I've got walls, I got like windows. Oh, this one's actually broken, but that's okay. Windows, I got a door. Gotta have a door. So I basically got all the stuff here to make a spaceship bridge for Kill Team. This is what I've been printing since I got the new 3D printer, and it's a lot. I got a floor, I got a whole floor plan, I got pillars and everything, got different things for my ship. So that is something I'm going to be painting up as well next year. And I'll be painting, I do have a Nurgle model ready to go that is the Harbinger of Decay. Might be my favorite model of Nurgle ever. I don't know. It's really, really cool with the horse and the pose and everything. And I would really like to see if I can push myself with this paint job to see, if it's competition worthy. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just gonna have fun painting him up. So those are my general plans that I'll be working on in the new year. I'm sure there'll be new stuff because GW keeps bringing out stuff every week. And every week I'm hoping not to spend any money, but sometimes, it's just coming. I do really want that new Flesh Eater Courts leader, Usharon, I think he's called. He's a big chunky boy. I want him. That came out wrong. Anyway, let's end the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back with tutorials early next year of whatever I'm currently painting. So if you have any recommendations or suggestions, let me know. Also with the shorts, I might plan some short shorts. I might plan some short shorts about gory stuff or discussing things. And in the meantime, thanks for watching.